Welcome back. It is a brand new week, a brand new night. We are unedited, unfiltered. We are going raw. My name is Joey.
And I'm Eric, and we're your hosts. Welcome to Raw Minds. Well, it's going to be a fucking tough one tonight, I'll tell you that, brother.
Oh, you said it, buddy. It's tonight is something that we definitely, and why we're doing this tonight is it is a huge battle and problem, especially with men. And
Yeah,
to be able to use this platform, especially tonight. This is a it's an emotional, subject for even myself, but
yeah,
it's definitely something that I need to share. We need to share, you know, to the audience and the guys, especially listening. It it really is, you know, a really hard thing to have to deal with and feel and get to that point in your
hmm
life. And I just pray that, nobody has to, but that's the reality. And sometimes people do. And it's really affecting our society and especially in men, right? So,
exactly, man. Well, I mean, men account for like 3.54 times as many um, completed suicides as women, according to World Health Organization. I looked up earlier. I mean, that's pretty crazy, man. It's the seventh leading cause of death in men.
yeah, when you
You know.
say it like that, it's heartbreaking. It truly is,
Yeah.
And a big part of why we decided to go and talk, about this evening is we've actually been getting a lot of emails, a lot of supportive emails, which we really appreciate, a lot of kind words, and but part of the show too is to have, you guys reach out if you feel like you have no one to talk to and you're struggling,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
and there's been a couple already, and they were, heartbreaking to read, and to, like, for me it was almost like a PTSD, because I was there.
Mhm.
I read some of these, and I was just, I got emotional to know that, these young men um are are in this part of their life and don't know how to get out of it.
There
And
was actually one woman too, brother. So I mean,
oh,
and it doesn't matter, men or women. I mean, at this point, we'll take both. This is what we're here for. I know we're based on men's mental health, but we accept it all.
well, 100%, like, it's
Yeah.
everyone deals with it, right? We've talked about this before on our previous episodes. It comes in all different levels with mental health in any parts of your life, right?
Mhm.
But for someone to get to that point where they feel it is easier to not be here anymore because they cannot go another day feeling like that, and
Yeah.
being so broken and so lost and feeling so alone, it it it's it's truly heartbreaking. And when we read some of these emails, and man, like I said, it was like flashbacks for me. I'm like, we have to do this. We have to talk about this. And it just felt like today was the day, and tonight, this episode was the day that we're gonna do that. So know that, in and I'm kind of speaking to, well, everybody, but kind of going back to some of these emails, is like the fact that you guys even reached out is a huge step. The
Mhm.
fact that you guys reached out even to us, and we love you guys for it because that's what we're here for. But the fact that you recognize that you need help is a huge step to you getting better.
100%.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
as flattering as it is to come to us, it's regardless of who it is, and we've said this, me and Eric, on the show a lot before, is if you feel you don't have anybody, and you have to find that source and you don't feel you can, or you don't know where to find it, we are your source.
Yeah.
And you
We'll help
guys
you.
1,000,000%. We will help you the best we can, and if you live in another country, we will phone over there, whatever we got to do to help you find those resources, so
Yep.
you step away from that ledge, because we don't want anybody, obviously, to feel like that, or not get to that point, because you are too valuable and your life is so precious. And whether
Yep.
you think, if you feel you got nobody that loves you, you do, you know? So we are here. Like, you guys email us anytime, but just to get those, like I was saying, the emails just know that that's a huge step for you guys. And we greatly appreciate it, because you're recognizing it,
Mhm.
you're struggling, and you're just, when I was in that, I things I never thought of before, knowing that I had to try to get out of that, I would reach for anything positive, and if it was talking to somebody, whatever, and you guys are doing that, so be very proud of yourselves as well, that you're taking that step, and that is a huge sign towards, you know getting yourself better. So we thank you, like, from the bottom of our hearts, that you guys reached out to us, and it's, and like I said, we love you guys, man. That's what we're here for, right? So
Yeah, this is what we wanna do. This is what we I feel like I was fucking made to do this, like, just to reach out and help people. I mean, my mom at a young age when I wasn't born, she got ran over and she was pronounced dead, and they said she would never have kids again. And then she like pronounced dead for like I think a minute and something. And then she came back and the doctor she got all better and the doctor told her she'd never have kids. And about I don't know, 10 years after that, I think something like that if I remember right. Me and my daughter was I mean me and my sister was born. It was a fucking miracle child, man. Like that's like I feel like I was here to make a difference, help people. I mean, I've been through fucking hell and back so many times, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that you're okay. It's okay to spread your feelings to people that will suck that in and help you, and we're those people. We will suck that shit in and we will help you and we will listen to everything that you have to say. And if we don't know, we will guide you to the right people, like Joey said. And that it's just important to make that step. It's like when AA, they say the first step is to realize that you have a problem, you know and to reach out and get that help. And it's the same thing with when you're having these horrible thoughts, and it's a huge bad word, people don't like to say it, but suicide is fucking nuts, man. you know and it's okay, it is okay to reach out. Fucking, you may feel weak or vulnerable, but that's okay. You're more of a man to reach out. It's fucking takes more courage to fucking pick up the phone and ask for help than try to fucking just push it down and be a tough guy. It
million
takes
percent.
way more courage. That's a fucking man. You know. Then you're on your way to change when you do that. You know.
Oh, a
And
million
at the
percent.
bottom, yeah. Well, at the end of the day, though, it's only up to you. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. It's only up to you.
Oh, for sure. It's only up to you, and it's okay to not be okay. You know,
100%.
you're human being. We all have emotions, men, women, it doesn't matter. It's
Mhm.
okay to not be okay, but it is not okay for you to stay in that. You
Yep.
have, you have to, whatever it is that you guys struggle with, whether it's trauma and the heartbreak and your past childhoods and all this that might be coming up now and whatever it may be, is you definitely have to grieve that. And like I said before, when you feel, you heal. Man or not, cry if that's how you feel. You have to let out those emotions. It doesn't make you
Mhm.
less of a man because you cry because that's what society tells you. Fuck that. You are a man. You have feelings. You are not a robot. If you are
Mhm.
hurting, you have to fix what's going on inside of you, your core issues, before you start bleeding on people that didn't cut you. And then they said, well, I gotta, like me, I buried my problems and traumas for years, failed relationships, et cetera, et cetera. But until you fix what's going on in the core, you know, you, you you're going to continue to relive these traumas and not even realize it. You're taking it out on your girlfriends and your wives and your kids, and daddy's not the same. And daddy's always sad and daddy's always miserable because you're not talking about it. You're just burying it. And I got to go to work and I got to feed my kids, and that's great. But you know, you don't realize is that people feed off your energy as well. When daddy's
Yeah.
sad, when daddy's depressed, daddy doesn't say, and the wife wondering why my husband doesn't talk to me anymore and he's just quiet because he's fucking hurting. And he doesn't want you to judge or feel like that. And as a man, because I was there numerous times, and you don't want your wife and your girlfriend and your best friend and your mom to think less of you because you're struggling and you might be a little bit low on the money and you don't want to bring it up because you got to be a man, and or you're feeling really down about something because of losing a friend or whatever it may be, because you got to put on that act because you don't want to look weak, you don't want to feel judged, you don't want you think that your wife's going to leave you for it. you know you just you got to dig down and you got to just let it out, man. You guys, you got to let it out. Talk something. Even start doing things that's out of the norm in your day, and start, things that you don't even know that you would have liked, just start doing it, because that'll also start to redirect you into meeting people that you never thought you would meet. And all these little
Yep.
things definitely helps you to try to get out of that. But I
Yep.
promise you, when you start doing that, your greatest accomplishments and the greatest blessings in your life will come from this pain. And I'm living proof.
And so am I.
And so is Eric. We are living
Mhm.
proof that to go from standing on the edge of a hotel thinking that today was the day I'm going to jump because I couldn't even lift my head up. I was so down and I couldn't take it anymore. And if it wasn't for a security guard that seen me climb up through the roof of the hotel uh, hatch or whatever it is, who grabbed me before I jumped. But to be in that mindset and mind state, sorry, of thinking that it was easier just to not be here anymore, and to come out of that and to sit here today with Eric, to talk to you guys, to tell you that it will get better. This will not last forever. This is temporary, because everything that you've been through in your entire life up until today, you have 100% success rate because you are still here.
100%.
you know?
I totally
So
agree. Yep.
so when you're in that and you can't eat and you can't sleep and you just feel so alone and broken, just know that it will get better. I promise you it will get better, but you have to put in the work. Lay it don't when you're in that state of mind and you are in that dark space in your life, as much as you want to numb that pain, as much as you want it to go away, that heartbreak, that loss of family, whatever it is that is putting you in that dark room and you can't see nothing, do not touch alcohol, do not go to the drugs, and no matter what, you stay away from anything that will take you farther down into that rabbit hole. And I get it.
W-
You're
w-
dying inside. You want anything to take that away. Anything. But that will only make it worse. Start filling your cup with the positives while you filter out the negatives. And I promise you,
Well,
and that's what I did, right? And
yeah, Joey, why don't you touch on that? Like, why don't you explain in your situation, like, what you went through to, like, what you did to come out of that? You know what I mean? Like, what you, the tools that you used.
when I look back, being in that space, and it's been a couple times in my life, and I'm sure if you're in it now, you've probably, and I hope you're not, or haven't been, but sometimes people are in that space a few times in their life, and I was one of them. And when I look back to being in that dark room, walking around, and I couldn't see nothing, and I was broken, shattered. I couldn't eat. In what, in one of the last moments I was like that. I remember walking into my house and I just had another failed relationship, and that was the icing on the cake. But it was a mental detox, if you will, of just flashbacks of trauma and built up years of all this that I've had to deal with in my life. And I remember walking into my house one day and I literally collapsed. And from that, I ended up in my room and I couldn't leave my room. And I cried. And I've never felt that much pain mentally in my life. And I laid there for 5 days. I think I ate one orange and I lost 30 pounds in 5.5 days. And when you're in this and people listening, and just like you asked, Eric, is like, well, what tools did you use to get out of it? And I know everybody's different because everybody, has different things that they enjoy in their life that can help get them out of that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when I was in that, I have two kids. They're my whole world. And I knew, even though I could not get out of bed, and I thought to myself that this is the day when I drive down the street, I'm going to let go of the steering wheel. And my kids, again, are the reason why I'm still here today telling this story. Is instead, as hard as it is, you have to dig deep and find, like I said, when you get away from the booze and that side and you start finding the positives, you have to force yourself. And I fucking screamed at myself to get up. Literally screamed at myself, you need to get up. And when I started to get up, I've always been a gym guy, but I've never been an outdoors hiker. And for whatever reason it was, I got up, I put shoes on, and I went for a walk, and I just kept going. And I couldn't go to work because I was messed up, and I took some time off, and I just started hiking and walking and hiking and walking, and that's all I did for like a week and a half straight. And I started getting outside and getting fresh air, and that was my start and all I did was um, motivational videos on repeat. I found one. You find one that resonates you, just like a song or just like music. And I had that shit on repeat, and I found one, and that just hit with me. And I probably ran out my data in 2 days because when you're out hiking, there's no Wi-Fi. So, and I just played that over and over and over, and all I did was pound the most positive things I could find into my head, yelling at myself to get up every day, get up, and I started to do things that I never did before. And like mentioned earlier, is finding these things and start doing these things that you never thought you would enjoy. It's not never thought that you would actually do, because when you start to do these things, you're like, damn, actually I enjoy this, and damn, and then all of a sudden you meet people that you never thought you would meet, and that one person that you can meet and could change your life. You never know.
Hmm.
And once you start doing these things, is you start to elevate and you start to feel better because you're giving yourself purpose. And that's what I had to find when I was in that dark room, was purpose. I had my kids, yes. I was being a, dad and going to work, but what was my purpose in life? And you always hear, what's your why? Everyone's got to find their why. It's true. And your why is your purpose, right? What is something that you think about when you wake up, and think about, the last thing you think about when you go to bed, that radiates your soul, that, and that's what you have to try to find. And that's what I did. And I try to find things, and even I'm like, yeah, this is good. Then you try the next thing, and you don't know until you try, but you have to try. And even when you're that down and you have no energy, like for me, some people overeat. I didn't eat. And when you don't eat, you have no energy. You feel weak. Even in that, when you're feeling like that, you have to force yourself, no, to get up. You have to. And like I said, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay in it, because if you don't change, then nothing changes, right? So,
100%.
and I was reading books and I was doing this. I'm not a guy that reads novels and whatever it is. I didn't care. And then I would get ideas from the motivational videos, and then I started, and this was a big one for me, was meditation. Before, I went through that last, I'm like, man, I think that I don't meditate, man. A lot of people are like, that's dumb. I tell you right now, meditation, fucking amazing. Even for 10 minutes a day, every second day, even as you get a bit better. But when you're in that, start to meditate. The guided meditation, especially because it tells you what to do and how to, and it lets you refocus on what they're saying rather than what's really messing your head up, right? So,
What what got you into that state of mind? Like, what was the thing that pushed you to that edge?
well, I'll try to make this shorter than
Yeah,
longer,
do it in a
because
nutshell.
basically for me, it was years of numerous things. And I'm not perfect. We've all made mistakes. A lot of people's issues was created by their own actions. And I'm not saying none
Mhm.
of mine were, but I would say 90% of what I've dealt with in the last easy 10, 15 years were things that were happening to me, but and it causes you to fight battles that you don't want to fight or didn't want to fight, you
Was it
know?
a pile up of a whole bunch of shit, or was it,
It
like,
it wa
one specific thing, or
when I got to that point where I couldn't leave my room for 5 days, when I was just mentioning about, flashbacks, like a mental detox of flushing out this shit, and I was
Yeah, yeah.
remem and it was all of these things when I was getting those flashbacks that built up, and when I mentioned that last relationship, then the icing on the cake is that was just it wasn't just because of the relationship and the heartache. It was another relationship that failed because I pushed down all those years. I can give you a brief, but in the last 10 years or 15 years, when I was 23, I lost a son. My 3-year-old nephew died of cancer. My little sister, who I haven't seen now in 4 years, married, not kidding, and moved away with, and still lives with a child pedophile. Don't ask me. It's a long story, but that I had to deal, and I haven't seen my nephews in 4 years
That's
because.
fucked up though, man.
But throw that in the mix, and not seeing my nephews for 4 years, and my little sister doing whatever that I to this day, but that fucked our family up. So you throw that in the middle of that. My son's mom, my son is 13. My son's mom is, my son was pulled from his mother 4 years ago almost now, and she is sleeping in a tent as a homeless drug addict. Lost all her teeth, beautiful girl, and she's so lost into the drugs that my son lost his mother, and I got to deal with that, and I became a full-time dad overnight. I have
So
a
what it was pretty much is compounding and compounding and
it
compounding
was
pretty much, and you just
it was
pushed it down, pushed it down, and then exploded.
a million percentage is what exactly
Yeah.
what happened, and all this kept building up, and then that relationship, and I think I just talked about this before in the past, and like I would shut down because like I was saying earlier, and as when you're a man is, you know you don't talk about your problems. You're a man, you get figured out on my own, and in my head, well, I'll figure it out, and if I care about you, it's not your problem, I'll deal with it. But I didn't know how to deal with it, so I pushed it down.
Yeah.
So all that
Yeah.
compounded traumas that I just mentioned, plus more, we can get into another time, but you have the idea of all these things just kept, you know, pushing down into my gut, and me not realizing that I was running on autopilot with extreme high anxiety every day. And that relationship was the icing on the cake, like I said, and it blew up. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I realized that I just caused another relationship, not because I was a bad guy. I always was a good guy. I never cheated, blah, blah, blah. And I just shut down. And that's the
Mhm.
problem with the guys, you know, nowadays, especially, is because they're shutting down and they're just letting it build up and they can't take it anymore. And I get it. I fucking get it because like I said, it is the worst feeling ever to feel like you're
So
alone and helpless. It is, so
so can I use your story as a little bit of example and in what I believe and I think on my perspective anyways on some views?
100%, buddy. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I would say like a lot of men, like yourself included with your story is you compounded all your stuff. So everything that was happening at you, you just scared to deal with it. You just pushed it away, depression's kicking in, everything's just happening, and it's better off, easier, push it away, forget about it, out of sight, out of mind kind of shit, right? And what I find that, when multiple things are happening, you know, at you, like, and when it fucking rains, it pours, right? Let's be real. It's a shitstorm. But I find, like, after experiences, because don't get me wrong, I've done this shit too, right? I pushed that shit down fucking forever. I almost caught a charge of attempted murder when I was 17 years old because I would put shit down, and I've been through so much trauma at that. You know what I mean? So, like, I understand, I know this, I've been there. But over the years, I find that, all these problems, they're just gonna pile up and pile up and pile up. It's like being at work, you're sitting at your desk, buddy comes, drops a stack of paper that you have to do. I'll push that off later. That's just a small stack, whatever. I'm gonna keep on doing this. Still do that. Guy comes in next hour later, fucking drops more stacks. By the time the guys drop stacks, you haven't even touched it. The thing's fucking hitting the ceiling. Now you're all like, "Oh fuck, I don't even know what to do about this fucking all this stack. Like, where do I start?" You started getting anxiety. You're getting, you're having all these fucking emotions that are coming in, right? And what the trick really is, and fuck, like I said, I'm no stranger to it. I've done it, Joey, you just explained it. You've done it. What you need to do is you got to step back out of these situations and really tackle one problem at a time. Figure out what's the most important problem you need to tackle and hit that one first. The one that's fucking right in your face that you need to do it. It's like a life or death situation or whatever the fuck it is. You need to tackle that problem. Put the other ones off for a second. Don't put them away, but just put them off to the side. As soon as that one's done, grab the next one. And it's all about, increments, baby steps. Like when you learn to walk, you're not fucking running right away. You're learning to walk. You got to take these little steps, right? Same thing, apply that, little step, do a little bit here, and then just finish that one, and then take care of the next one, because that shit's just going to pile up, like you said, man, and then at one point, either you're going to explode or something else, and it's a fucking, it's shitty. But I truly believe, and I'm not a doctor, I ain't no fucking psychologist. I'm just a guy, in construction that been through some shit and just wants to not be afraid to fucking tell the world who gives a shit, because this is what we need out there, you know? And this is my belief, and you can tell me to go fucking pound sand, whatever you want, man, but I'm telling you, this is what I think is you need to focus on what's important at that moment in time, to like whatever problem that is, and you need to deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, like Joey says, it's just gonna fucking pile up, pile up, pile up, and then it's fucking downhill. And it's gonna be harder coming back from that shit, you know? Like, deal with it right away, boom, that's done, and you feel great, okay, finally, I got that done, now what's next? And Joey, man, how long my car was sitting there for, bro? Fucking, what, 2 years? Like, "Oh, fuck, the thing's fuck," you know? But I fucking dealt with it, and I had it. It's stupid. We all do it. But at the end of the day, it's about taking those little steps and dealing with the problems fucking head on, man, right away. Deal with it. Like I said in the other episodes, got a problem, fucking run towards it. I run towards that shit. Let's just do it. I mean, look what we went through tonight, Joey, and we fucking look where we are right now. You know what I mean? It's all about fucking just going through it.
Oh, for sure, buddy. You have to, man. And let me. I'm a prime example. Kind of what I just said is I let that shit build up, build up, build up, run on autopilot, and slowly I was dying more and more every day because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to, you know, take on, what life was thrown at me. I mean, nobody does, especially with deaths and, you know, uh, heartaches and, the bad ones. And, well, all heartaches bad, but you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
the things that were out of your control, like the deaths and some traumas and things that happened to you when you were a child and those kind of things, and to be piled on with that, like I was. Since I was 6 years old, I was sexually and physically abused when I was a little kid, and it started from that. And, throughout my life and all these things, I mentioned a few, but there was a lot more, one thing after another. But another thing too is when, if you are one of those people where you feel like everything just keeps happening to you, like, don't be the victim. You
100%.
have to look at it like, you have to, like Eric said, is hit it head on. Don't say, why me? Why is it always me? Why is it always me? And you just gotta, and there's nothing you can do about it, so you have to deal with it, right? So many people live in that victim mentality, and or it's easier to blame somebody else for your problems because you don't want to face it. You don't want to admit to people that you're fucked up. You don't want to admit that, you know, that your father abused you or whatever. And it's hard to talk about because it was, especially for childhood things, but there's still things that you have to talk about. You have to, and it's okay to admit that you have problems, and, but go and find that source. Go and talk to somebody that you feel comfortable with, and if you like I did, like you're interviewing counselors even to you feel people's energy. Like, you know what? I went through 4 or 5. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel right talking to them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even when I didn't
Took
want to
me a
talk,
bunch, man.
you gotta it's like you gotta find the one that works. Don't get discouraged if you talk to 2 or 3 and you don't like them. But you also have to try to be open minded when you know that you've got issues that you need to fix.
Mhm.
And then like I said, with all that compounded traumas and hurt and failed relationships and heartbreaks all piled into one and family problems, if I would have just, like Eric said, is just talk about it or, reach out, you know, I would have gotten to that place. But as men, and that's why the suicide rate is almost 4 times higher, is because we got to be men. We don't cry. You got to fucking be strong for your kids and your family. You still got to go to work. You got to pay the bills. And that's all good because we do. But, you know, at the same time, is you're fucking, when you're dying inside, you have to fix that core problem, that core issue, whatever it is. And sometimes you're so fucked up, you don't even know why you're fucked up. Because, like me, it was compounded. So it was slowly, like I said, I was dying more and more every day, dwindling away and not even realizing it. I knew there was issues and I knew I wasn't the happiest, but it would slowly build and build and then something else would happen. And then finally, like I said, the last relationship was the icing on the cake. Boom, done. Because you let it piled up. And even the small things, like when you talk like in relationships with the communication, all these couples, they get in fights because they let things pile up, and well, the little thing bugs them, but they don't say nothing. And then another little thing bugs them and another thing, and boom, relationship's over. Someone's hurting. Someone's
Yep.
got heartbreak because you didn't talk about it. And it.
Well, let's talk about this, bro. What about the effects that it does on the family members? I mean, okay, let's just play this out here. Let's just okay. Imagine, buddy, he takes his life. Really had it's tragic. So, buddy takes his life. Now, what about say your mom's still alive? So now your mom's got to live without your son or daughter, whatever it is. That's fucking no parent should fucking bury their child. So not only now, you're fine, you're gone, everything's fine, but now these people that are left behind have to carry this weight, you know, for their whole life, and they don't have answers. There's no answers. There's no answers, and it's fucking. I'm going through it. I'm going through it. I lost my fiance 6 months ago on Father's Day, and I have no answers. Why? Why did you do this? But we will never know because we're not that person. But you need to understand, it's not just you that you're like affect. Okay, I understand. You're having these thoughts. You just want the pain. I fucking understand that shit. I really do. My heart goes out to everybody that feels like that because I've been there. Joey's been there. It you feel so alone. I get it. You feel so alone. You can be in a room with a million people and you still feel like no one's there. That's I get it. But I mean, you got to understand, man. You're leaving people behind if you choose to go down that path. And these people are going to have to carry that weight for the rest of their lives. And that's not fair at all. That shit's not fair. So before anything like that ever even starts going into your mind, realize that there's people out there that you're going to affect, multiple people out there. You may not even know that this person cares about you, you know? And you all of a sudden take your life. Well, now that person, you know, is gonna cry. They're gonna have to go to your funeral, and mourn you, and they're gonna memorize all this. Not memorize, sorry, but remember all this shit, and that's unfair. Also, you got to think of that side too. You
You
know.
know, and one of the other times when I almost took my life, this was years back, when my son was 1, and I sat under the bridge, I remember, and I was going to drive my car into the river, and I was drinking a 2-6 of whiskey. And the day before, my son just started to crawl, and I had a video of it, and him smiling and crawling for the first time. And I look at that video sitting in my car, crying and crying for hours, and that video and my son saved my life that day, because I remember sitting in that moment, just like you were saying, is how selfish would I be to create this permanent problem on a temporary, or sorry, a permanent solution with a temporary problem, and leave my son behind and leave my family behind. You know what I mean? Because everything you are going through, and I'm proof, and Eric is proof, and we're sitting here talking about it right now, is it's temporary, and it doesn't feel like it. I get it. It does not feel like it. You feel like you'll never get out of that, and it is the worst, like Eric said, and I get it. You fucking the worst pain of brokenness ever, and I understand it. But also understand, like Eric was saying, is people do love you. The effects that will cause your family, your children, your friends. I've seen one of my high school friends hang himself, and he had a wife and 2 kids, and his wife just left him and was with somebody else. A week later, he found out, and he just couldn't take it, and he took his own life because he couldn't deal with that pain. I understand it, but how selfish can you be to leave those kids over something that eventually that you would get over? And it's terrible, especially, heartbreak is the worst. Next to death is fucking brutal. I don't wish it on anybody because it lasts a long time. But it also up to you, whether it's the heartbreak or whatever it is that you're dealing with, on how long that's going to last, on what you're going to do the best you can to get out of that as soon as you can.
Mhm.
Like I said before, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to just stay in it. You can't, because people rely on you. People are counting on you. People love you.
Mhm.
People need you here. If you are listening
Mhm.
to me right now, people need you here. Whatever it is that you're going through, you will get through it, because all this pain that you're feeling right now will become your biggest blessing. I promise you. You will get through it. It gets better. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but you need to put in the work. And as hard as it is, you need to get the fuck up. If you're listening to me right now, you need to get up. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. I promise you that, because people do care. And if you don't think you have anybody that cares about you, we fucking care. If you're listening to this right now and you are all alone and you got nobody to talk to, you talk to us, because we fucking care.
Well, this is why we're doing this, right? You know, this is why we're reaching out and letting people know, that we want to help you, or at least you can, you know, relate to our stories, or something, whatever it is, to make a difference. That's what we're doing this for. I don't know. It's a hard topic, definitely, what we're touching on right now. But I mean,
But
fuck, man, it is
man,
hard.
it is very hard.
Buddy, I
But
had a buddy of mine, and he was 21 years old. This is years ago in my 20s, and I mean, he went to the hospital, seeking help. I found this out after he passed away, but he went to the hospital seeking help, and I think my buddy said he was in there for a couple days. My buddy even visited him, and then they just released him with nothing. And a week after he got released, he threw a party at his house, and then all of a sudden, just kicked everybody out randomly. Said, "Everybody leave. I'm gonna go to sleep." 2 days later, his buddy came over. His best friend came over to go check up on him, and found him with a zap strap around his neck, and he was holding on like that. 21 years old, bro. 21. I think I was 25 at the time, 20 or 24 at the time. 21, man, you know? And he went to the hospital, and they kept him there for a couple, like, I can't really say for sure how long. I mean, this is a long time ago, and this is just what my friend told me. But he was released, I know that, not long after, you know? And he was apparently begging them for help. And I think that's a big fucking thing, a big problem that we have is the government that we need more fucking support for this shit, you know? People get turned away all the time. It fucking sickens me, man. It fucking sickens me. Like when I went through mine, I my kid's mom ran away with my daughter for like 3 months, and I couldn't find her, and I was just pressed, and ended up taking a fucking bunch of pill bottles and fucking ended up going into a coma for 2 days. My buddy walked in though, found me, and called 911 because he was checking up on me, and luckily he did. Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. If you ever hear this, man, you saved my life. And yeah, I woke up in the hospital, and I had to do what they asked. I had to do even some depression books. They held me for a bit, and then my dad came down and with my brother and picked me up and took me to Powell River. He came down, and I took everything that was most valuable to me, and I put it in the 2 trucks because they came down from to Vancouver with 2 trucks. And I put everything that was most valuable to me in those trucks, mostly all my daughter's stuff and my TV. Can't go wrong with the TV, right? You always gotta bring that. But, yeah, I went to Powell River, and I lived there, and fuck was it like, I don't know, man. Have you ever been to Powell River? It's very slow. I mean, like, if you live 10 minutes out of the city, it's too far and people won't come to your house. I shit you not, bro. I shit you not. I mean, everybody stops at the stop sign and everybody's waving everybody. They get in fights trying to wave. It's a really slow city. It was really nice. So every morning I go down to Tim Hortons and I grab 2 coffees, and I'd make like or not make, but put on a playlist on my Spotify, motivational and just music too. And I would sit down at the dock and smoke some joints, drink my coffee, and just listen to music, and f- pretty much reset myself. Found myself again, reset, figured out what I need to do, and then I fucking fought for my daughter. I got someone, found where she was, and I fought for the rights for my daughter, because if you don't know this, man, you have no rights for your kid until one of you go to court, which it's crazy. If you don't have like a court order or anything, I could take my kid and go anywhere the fuck I want. Well, besides flying, because I think you need a letter and all that shit for that. But you can do that, man. And it was crazy. I didn't know that. But anyways, I mean, I came back. I fought. My daughter was everything. I was like, why did I do this? Like, I want to see this little girl grow up. She's everything to me. She is. I named my business after her when I have my business. I do everything. She is my why. She drives me. But at the end of the day, I got to take care of myself first in order to take care of her.
You know,
And if I'm not I and well, if I'm not here right now, then who the fuck's gonna take care of her, right?
yeah, for the people listening is you have to come first. And I know a lot of people, I have kids, I get it. Especially when you have kids, oh, my kids are first, my kids are first. And the truth is you have to be first. And I'm not saying it in a way like that is because if you don't fix you and you don't learn to love yourself, then how can you be the best version of yourself for those children, for your wife, for your husband, for your family? Because when I was having my flashbacks and that, you know, mental detox, if you will, back then, is I was getting flashbacks of remember having my kids and my daughter in my ear, dad, 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 just trying to play with me. And I was so out of it and on autopilot. Like my dad would be like, dude, your fucking daughter's talking to you. I had no idea. And she's right beside my fucking ear because I was so gone and I was just in my phone and I wasn't even looking at anything. And these are the flashbacks I was getting. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Who was that? Where did I go? I was so lost for so long and I didn't even realize it. So you have to fix this first so you can be the best for your kids, for everybody in your life. So when you're in that place of darkness, just know that it's temporary. Know that you'll feel alone, but you're not. You need to reach out, kill that fucking ego. Especially as a man, kill that fucking ego. Reach out. Who gives a
Yeah.
shit what anyone thinks? Because your self worth, you as a person, everything about you is the most important. And especially to
Your
other
life's on the
people,
line, man.
this is your life.
Yeah.
And you're gonna care what and you know what? And if you're dating someone and then they judge you and leave you because oh well he's you know fucking too vulnerable and he's not the same. Get him the fuck out of your life. You don't need him because you're reaching out. You're trying to do what's best for you, and you come first. So if anyone judges you for that and looks down on you and laughs at you, really, fuck them. Because like Eric said earlier, the bravest thing you can do as a man is to reach out for help.
100%.
So fuck what
100%.
anybody says. Anyone who judges you, fuck them. Lose the ego. Reach out for help because your life matters.
And like I say all the time, man, they ain't coming to your fucking birthday party, so who gives a fuck? Take care of yourself, right? That's all I want to say.
But yeah, you
It's
have
true
to.
though.
It's 1,000,000% true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
man.
I said too, is like the biggest blessings come from your lowest moments in life. So just think that
Mhm.
whatever it is that you're struggling with right now, what you know, are, feeling so broken and alone with right now, there's always positive in every negative. Always. And this will be because of this. And when you pull out of this, because you will, is this will be your biggest blessing. Because if it wasn't for this, you're not going to get this, 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 and this because of that.
Well, we're living proof, bro, right now of a positive out of a negative. Out of your negative, you want to do this. That was your positive. Out of my negative, I wanted to do something, and this was my positive that we found. You know what I mean? We're living proof right in front of your fucking eyes that you see this right now. You're looking at it right now. You know, just it's okay. It's okay to be not okay, but it's not okay. Like Joey said, how's the saying go? It's not okay.
It's not okay to stay in it
That's it.
because it's
It's
only
not.
up to you to get out of it. Only you.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel, you heal, but do not stay in it.
100%, buddy.
Do not stay in it. Don't self medicate. None of that bullshit. As much as you want to numb that pain, like I said earlier, because I get it. And that's what, people that never done drugs before start doing drugs because they can't handle it.
Yeah.
But no, you flip that script. You do the positives. As hard as it is, you fucking get up. Put your fucking shoes on, get out the door, and get up. And you start
Yeah.
rebuilding yourself. Stack those wins. Find your purpose. You don't know what that is. You have no idea what you want to do in life. Fuck it. You can access anything you want on the internet and on your phone. Pick something. And if you're like, I don't know, I never thought I would do, fucking do it. Because you never know who you're going to meet. And once you start getting out of that and you start elevating in your life, is now you're going to attract better people. Because once you're out of that, you start coming out of that and you start feeling better and, start taking care of yourself better and you start hitting the gym and you start doing all these things. I promise you, the people that start coming around you, not even another relationship, it's just the friends that you make, the things that you're invited to. And and it's happened to me. You meet one person you never thought you would meet in a place you never thought you would go, change your whole fucking life for the better. You know what I mean?
Right? Right, though? Right? Remember the first time me and you met?
When I was in that hole like I was talking about earlier, and I couldn't leave my room for 5 days, I was that fucked up. And 2 weeks later, once I just started getting out of my fucking house, I met Eric here, who moved into my basement, and I will forever, for the rest of my life, be grateful for that
Yeah.
because
Love you, bro.
having having him move into my basement, and I didn't even know who he was. I'm a single dad upstairs with 2 kids. He's a single dad with a daughter downstairs. That's it.
Don't you know who I think I am?
But that
But
was a
yeah,
huge part of my recovery in that sense of my mental change. And to get out of that is I was lucky enough to have him move in and be close to me, but him being there, from not knowing him to being able in no time to be able to open up and start talking about what's going on in my life, to only realize and find out that he was going through some of the exact same shit. So if you're in that, you have to find that one person, try. And if you can't,
yeah, man.
we are them. We are that person. Because that one person, if you have one person that shows you that they genuinely care, can change even the whole direction of your life. Because
It's true.
people do care. And I know there's a
Yep.
lot of fucking shittier people out there than there are good people. And like I always say, if you can't find good people, be good people. But you have to just, whatever you can do is reach out, find somebody, talk, and fix the core issues within yourself. Because I promise you, and it took me, I'm 41, and it took me 40 years to fucking explode like that, of all that years of pushing it down. 40 years before I realized that I had problems and I needed to fix them now. But I hope that you guys listen, and you might be in it or that deep, and hopefully not that deep. Don't let it get to that point. You have one thing that you're dealing with, go deal with it now. Like Eric said, do not let it build up. Hit it head on, as much as it's going to hurt. Lose the fucking ego and talk about it. And if anyone judges you for being vulnerable, especially as a man, go tell them to fucking pound sand. You don't need them in your life,
Nope.
because you are more important. Your life is important before anyone else's fucking opinions. So if you're listening to this right
100%.
now, we love you. You don't have anybody, you have us. You hit us up, rawmindspodcast@gmail.com any time of the fucking day, and one of us will respond. And if we got to get on a fucking airplane to fly 6 hours away to come talk to you for 1 hour to have a coffee with you, we will fucking do it.
Well, I think on that note, brother, we'll leave all these guys with some love. And just maybe I just want to push this out there. If you don't want to talk to your friends and you're not really into a counselor and you just want to talk to someone on the phone, just go to the suicide helpline. I'll give you guys the number right now for Canada, and it's 1-833-456-4566. That's 1-833-456-4566. And use it. Use it. Reach out. I mean, that's what it's there for. You know. I don't know the states one, and for all our American friends there, but I'll look it up right now for you guys.
Yeah, and
And
and if it's
see what I can find.
if it's not that hotline, and then it's you got to find a source. You just need at least one source. Please, I'm begging you guys, get just it's day to take one day at a time, but you have to give me another day. Give us another day. It's temporary. You will not be in it forever. I promise you. Your greatest blessings are going to come onto this. And when they do, I want you guys to email us to tell us, 6 months from now, 3 months from now, whatever, the life changes that you guys made because you are worth
I,
it and people care.
I got the states one here. So for the suicide crisis line for the U.S., you just do 988. So that's 988 for all our American family out there. But yeah, I mean, please use that. There's other resources like Joanna said. If you guys need the resources, you guys can't find them. We're more than happy to help you find them. We just need to know what state you're in, or province, or whatever it is. If you're in a fucking igloo, I don't give a shit. Just let us know, and we'll help you out whatever we can, best of our abilities. And like I said, me and Joey, we ain't no fucking doctors or counselors. We're two guys in construction that just been through shit. So we just want to help out. That's all.
100%. So, on that note, we thank you guys all again. We love you so much. You guys are going to see us again next week, and we will talk with you guys soon. If you can't find good people, be good people.
All right, yeah, thank you guys. And just want to put that out there. Our email one more time. rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. And we're also on TikTok, Raw Minds. Raw.minds, right, Joey? I think it is.
Yeah, Raw Minds Podcast.
Yeah, Raw Minds Podcast. That's on TikTok as well. We're on YouTube, Audible, all of that. So if you can show us some love, we'd appreciate it. We just want to spread the love and joy and break the stigma. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. Be good or be good at it. Take it easy.